government special agents are sent to the hills of Arkansas to investigate an alien abduction. The agents meet and team up with some backwoods hillbillies to infiltrate the alien's mothership. Once aboard the spacecraft, hillbillies and government agents alike must fight for their lives and escape their alien foes. It's Deliverance, Star Wars, Close Encounters, and The X-Files all chewed up and spat out as truly bizarre and twisted fun. You'll like it even if you don't own a double wide. I'm Corey.
And I'm Paul.
And we are the B-Movie Bros.
We review B-movies to the best of our abilities.
Sometimes we get off topic, but randomness is a gift. We come to you this month talking about something special, something loving and caring. We're talking about Inbred Rednecks. And as that's the theme for this month, the description you just heard from the DVD cover is of the movie Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction.
A romantic comedy for, Valentine's Day and all that.
Let's just jump into our technical difficulties here. Top and bottom three, what was our favorite and worst of this movie? I want to start with the bottom this time.
Sounds good. Why don't you start us off here?
Number 3, the movie had a very slow startup, I felt. Like, the first 2 or 3 minutes was really, fun and exciting and had a good setup for the movie. You had an alien abduction, you had plenty of nudity, and then you get to meet the FBI agents. And they have terrible dialogue until they come in contact with the rednecks. And it really just seems like a waste of time. Nothing really happens. You don't really get that much into character depth. There's just no point to it. The only thing that they do in that is explain to you what kind of man Agent I Can Kick Your Ass is looking for. Special Agent I Can Kick Your Ass is the female agent, whereas Agent Cooper is the male agent. Number 2, the soundtrack for this movie jumps between one of two genres. It jumps from, redneck banjoing to 50s beach movie. And the two kind of musics don't really mix well. And sometimes they're playing both kinds at once, and it really bugs me. And I don't like the use of the music in this movie at times. And then number 1 of the 3 worst things for me in this movie is the audio quality. The dialogue sometimes is really low. The next scene, it's really high. And then sometimes it shifts, in the middle of a scene from being nice and easy to hear and understand to really low and hard to hear. I mean, that's it for me. That's my bottom 3. Not too gripey on this. Just a few nitpicky things.
Not too bad. For number 3, I make this complaint about a lot of these movies, but the sound quality was... You had to crank up the volume on the TV a lot to hear things, and even certain things were still too low for you to make out. It was... That's just something, and I know it's a low-budget film, but still, it's when the sound quality is so poor, it kind of detracts from it, and it's it just makes the movie that much worse.
And one of the weirdest things about the sound quality is the interior shots are the worst audio quality. When they're outside, the audio is actually pretty good. Which is funny, you would think it would be louder inside than outside.
Probably had a lot going on. It was hard to filter out sounds from going on around them. But yeah, when the sound quality is bad, it's hard to make up for that with anything else. That's a very big point. So that's why that's a criticism I have a lot of times. For number 2, some of the jokes just went on too long and were just more stupid than funny. There's a fight scene that just goes on forever.
That was hilarious.
It went on way too long. There are other scenes that just go on too long. A lot of the jokes were, although funny, some of them were just kind of dumb and predictable, and yeah.
I don't know, after sitting through so many episodes of Family Guy through my life, a lot of jokes don't seem to drag on as long because Family Guy jokes drag on for so long at times.
Yeah, I guess you got to take it into context. So, for number 1, I'm going to go with, the movie was kind of slow-paced at times. It's it had scenes where very little was going on. It's oh yeah, now we are at this scene. It's I thought overall, it flowed pretty well, but there were certain times where it just went on too long. It was just kind of annoying. So that was my criticism. Nothing really too harsh on that one.
No, so I guess we're all ready to talk about the top 3 on this movie. Number 3 is the special effects. They are cheesier than Limburg cheese. It's so fucking cheesy. I just wanted to like start eating the TV screen because I love cheese, and it looks so bad that it's hilarious. Number 2, no, I brought up the music in my bottom 3. I love the redneck music, the banjo playing and the twangy shit. It fits with what's going on. The 50s style beach music, surfy kind of music doesn't fit in with the movie. But the fucking banjo-y, twangy, everything just is so perfect that, I love it, and it makes me smile. And number 1 for me is just the redneck dialogue in this movie. The characters like Pappy Duke and Larry Bob, just the things that they say make me laugh so much throughout this movie that I can't really applaud many of the characters that aren't rednecks, even though that's like 3 characters, because the dialogue from the rednecks is so much better than the other dialogue. And that's it for me. I mean, the special effects, the redneck music, and the redneck dialogue, all rednecky.
There you go.
So, Paul, your top 3?
For number 3, I liked the dialogue and the jokes and everything. I thought it was funny, both the rednecks and the special agents. I thought that it was just kind of clever. It was just kind of goofy. It was just in general funny. Like I said, there were some jokes that were really stupid, but I'd say the majority of it was just was pretty funny. So I'll give it that. For number 2, this movie just didn't take itself seriously at all, which I really appreciated. It knew it was low budget. It knew it was ridiculous, and it just kind of went with that. And it didn't try to be anything it wasn't. It was just funny overall. And for number 1, like we said, the cheesy fucking effects, like the spaceship, which just looked like utter shit, and the aliens, which looked terrible, and just everything about it was just so cheesy, yet so much fun. And that's about it. That's all I got for that one.
Well, you know what? We both seem to enjoy the dialogue so much that I think we should have a quote war!
Quote war.
Yeah. I'll let you have the first strike today.
It's not fucking Somalia, son. It's Arkansas.
You're gonna have to speak into my good eye. I can't hear you.
The fork is the reason for life.
It's hotter than a whorehouse on Dollar Day.
Damn it, Larry Bob. What'd I tell you about having relations with the food?
Sex in space. And there you have it. That's it for this week's edition of Quote Wars. You can tell us here on SoundCloud or tweet us at BMovieBros. That's all one word. Find us on Facebook, B-movie space BROS. That's BMovie Bros. Who won this episode's edition of Quote War? Which quote was your favorite? Do you have a favorite quote from this movie? Have you seen this movie? Why the fuck did you watch this movie? We'd like to know. So give us a shout out. You can also tweet Paul directly at BMoviePaul. That's all one word. Anything else you want to say about this movie before we move on?
Not particularly. It was a funny movie. It was really hokey, really goofy, but funny. I enjoyed it. I never thought I'd enjoy a movie about inbred rednecks getting abducted by aliens, but here you go.
Why don't we give this movie our final take, and then we'll move on a little bit from there. Paul, a number score, what would you give this movie out of 10 on our shot scale? Now remember, folks, our shot scale is a reverse scale, 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. How many shots do you need to get through this movie?
Giving it a 3 out of 10.
Not bad, not bad. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10 as well. Why don't you tell us what you have to think about it as a whole?
Alright, so Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction was a low-budget comedy where everything about it was just of low quality. The props and effects were cheap, the acting and plot were terrible. If this movie managed to be really entertaining, due mostly to the fact that it never took itself seriously, it knew what kind of movie it wanted to be and didn't try to be anything more than that. It was somewhat slow-paced at times, and a lot of jokes were more stupid than they were funny. Still, if you want an entertaining, ridiculous movie that at no point takes itself seriously, I would definitely recommend this one.
for myself, Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction starts out strong with good nudity and an alien abduction. Then it grinds itself to a halt with, set up to a government investigation. Until the agents meet the rednecks, they're stiflingly boring. And the rednecks are amazingly hilarious. I can't help but be annoyed by the constantly changing dialogue volume. But admiring the special effects and how terrible they are, combined with the nudity and the continued hilarity of the rednecks, makes this, although forgettable film, a thoroughly enjoyable one. So we know not everyone likes to watch the same kind of shit that we do. So we like to try and give every movie that we review, every B movie at least, an A movie companion. To tell you why that A movie is the same movie as this B movie, just of a higher class and quality. I'm going to say my A movie companion for Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction, I'm going to cheat here a little bit and say that it is the original Star Wars trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6, all rolled into one. Paul?
That's a cop-out answer. I'm picking the 1982 movie E.T. One single movie.
Now, mind you, most of this fits into particularly A New Hope, except for really like one thing. And that'll be pretty obvious. Both movies start out with the telling of a story, whereas Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction does it with Larry Bob saying, "In a galaxy way far away." Star Wars opens with the text crawl, "In a galaxy far, far away."
A long, long time ago.
The Cantina Band introduces most of the aliens in the movie of Star Wars. Even if it's just you seeing them, they're not really like major characters or anything. There is a redneck playing a banjo, kind of like a band that introduces all the rednecks to the audience. They're constantly talking about, in Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction, the fork, and how the fork is good, and how the fork brings balance, and how the fork can be used for anything. Just how in Star Wars they talk about the Force, and the Force brings balance, and the Force is used for all this good and anything that you can need it to be. Now, here's the reason I have to say more than one movie. There is a character in Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction called Django Binks, who is dressed exactly like Boba Fett, if Boba Fett, got his Mandalorian armor from a junkyard. He's got a bucket on his head, he's got a mop for a missile, he's got a backpack, and he actually flies, as if the backpack is a jetpack. "That's no moon," is said. In Star Wars, whenever they see the Death Star and find out that it's a space station and not a moon, and in Inbred Redneck Alien Abductions, when they find out that the mothership is there, the mothership is not a moon, it's a mothership.
And they look to the one guy expecting him to finish the saying, but he's clearly never seen Star Wars before.
And the climax of both movies just so happen to be a space battle. And that's why Star Wars, the original trilogy, is the A movie companion for Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction.
You missed the most obvious one.
And which one is that?
The incest.
The incest, the inbreeding.
When Luke and Leia make out in Empire Strikes Back, and it turns out that they're brother and sister.
I think I just scrubbed that image from my mind.
Yeah, but you gotta make the compare. You cannot compare Star Wars
to an inbred redneck movie.
Inbred red rednecks, and not make that comparison.
Well, why don't you tell us why E.T. is an A movie version of Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction?
I will. Both movies start out with aliens coming to Earth in a spaceship. Both movies are about at least one alien interacting with humans. The aliens in Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction abduct human women to perform sexual experiments on them for some purpose. In E.T., the main alien character develops a meaningful friendship with Elliot and his siblings. Both movies have scenes where the alien's hands are interacting with things. In E.T., E.T.'s glowing finger has the ability to heal people. And in Inbred Redneck Alien Abductions, you see a lot of times the aliens just kind of interacting with stuff, and all you see are their hands, because I'm assuming at that point they didn't actually have the full costume, or they could only do that, but due to limitations. Both movies have the government trying to catch aliens in some fashion. In Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction, there are two FBI agents whose sole job is to find proof of alien life. And in E.T., the government kidnaps E.T. in order to study him and his healing properties and whatever. In both movies, the aliens interact with toys of some manner. In E.T., Elliot and his sister hide E.T. amongst a bunch of toy dolls. And in Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction, the aliens use a variety of sex toys on their captives. And that is why E.T. is just an A-movie version of Inbred Redneck Alien Abduction.
You also forgot that there are many pornographic films based off of E.T. where E.T. has sex with women, and the aliens in this movie actually do have sex with some of the women in this movie.
I feel like it's going into like a whole different movie. I'm just sticking strictly with this one.
I mean, one of them's called E.T. the Porno. I mean, come on. I mean, and then you have E3, the extra testicle. You know...
That's pretty amazing.
You never know.
I think E.T. the Porno, just plain and simple, is probably the best.
E.T. the Porno. It's the same movie.
E.T. Bone Home.
I don't know if they have that one, Paul. We'll have to find out. It's sad that I know things like this. And in case you want to forget that, and you want to drink away the flick, come on and grab your drink. Let's drink away the flick. We're going to give you some ways to drink away this flick, and anything we may have said that you might want to forget. I'm going to give you some drinking games, and Paul's going to give you... Here we go. Number 1. Every time an alien is horny in this movie, take a drink.
You'll need one.
Number 2. Anytime somebody is abducted, take a drink. Number 3. Every time something gets probed, take a drink. Number 4. Whenever a name containing Bob is said, take a drink. And number 5, because it's Inbred Redneck Month, every time you hear a banjo, take a drink. Paul?
Every time the spaceship is just kind of hovering over people, take a drink. Every time there's a fight scene, take a drink. Every time inbreeding, having sex with an animal or an inanimate object is mentioned, take a drink. And every time this movie makes reference to another alien-themed movie, take a drink.
And those are your ways to drink away this flick. So if you would like to join us next week as we continue our foray into Inbred Redneck Month, we will be watching the movie Blood-Sucking Redneck Vampires. How could that possibly go wrong? If you would like to tell us anything about this movie, any other movie, suggestions, comments, tweet us at BMovieBros, that's all one word, or Paul directly at BMoviePaul, that's all one word. Find us on Facebook, B-movie, space BROS, that's BMovieBros. That's all I have for this week. Anything else, Paul?
Well, I guess next week we'll see how vampires face rednecks, since we learned this week how aliens did. Maybe the one will fare better than the other. That's about all I have to say on that one.
So until next time, friends, be brave, be alive, be back next week.